I think that's it.
All right. So hello, everyone. Welcome to the panel discussion this morning. The topic is Asia's future of IoT. My name is Nguyen. I'm the managing partner of Tictag, where we focus on data. I think to get the show going, it's better to let you gentlemen kind of introduce yourselves and let everyone know who you are. Mr. Han?
Okay. Hello, everybody. First of all, thank you, Drew, and the Gradion team, everybody here for inviting me to this panel. I'm grateful. Allow me to share my knowledge within my industry. And that industry is BIM, which stands for Building Information Modeling. And we support architects, engineers, and contractors to digitize their design to build intelligent buildings. I'm the CEO of the BIM Factory. We are located here in Ho Chi Minh City for the last almost 13 years now. We were one of the first company that does BIM in Vietnam. So thank you.
Thank you, Han.
Yeah.
Doctor?
Thank you. So good day, everyone. My name is Quang. Firstly, I would like to say thank you to Gradion and to give me the chance to be here to share my perspective or my point of view in the IoT of the Asia future. And thank you, Drew, to manage them today. So now I founded the Baumarkt, one of the AI-powered furniture ecosystem. That means we apply the AI to shorten the design time between the client and architect, and then we manage from the design, manufacture, installation, buyback, and then we make the circular furniture system. So hopefully I can share something with the IoT future of Asia with a different point of view with all of you. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Emre, CEO of AirCity. So thank you, Gradion, for inviting us for the panel, and thank you for the co-host as well. Appreciate that. So we're a 6-year-old company in Saigon, serving basically 80 buildings and thousands of residences. So it's a building management service, and we service it through software, hardware, and decision-making tools. So we deploy a SaaS, as well as sensors, and an AI. And this is a package, basically, that is free given to the building managers. How would I describe AirCity's advantage? I would be saying, usually there are competitors who are super headcount heavy and tech poor. So this is our advantage. That's our leverage, basically, that's how we come into the market. And it's our mid-tier that we serve at the moment, and we're excelling on the, let's put it, mid-high-end market.
Cool,
Thank you.
Thank you. So I'm not sure if everyone's familiar with what IoT actually is. I had to look this up. So IoT stands for the Internet of Things. Everyday physical objects connected to the internet to collect, share it, and act on it automatically. Instead of people manually checking or controlling things, systems can monitor themselves and respond in real time.
Correct.
So that's the definition I got. I'm just curious to see how these guys are able to apply IoT to their businesses.
Yeah.
Why don't we start with Emre?
Yeah.
So you gave us a brief discussion or explanation of AirCity. I'm just curious, how have you guys been able to use IoT or into your buildings, your platforms, or even your residences?
For us, basically the smart city concepts and what we deploy at the moment is kind of crosswords. So how would I describe it is 10, 15 years ago, if I'm not mistaken, I've seen these presentations that flying lattes coming over with drones and stuff. I don't think this is any good or it's going to happen anytime soon. So what's happening is the automation part. So what we're doing is, I call it like a unit economic enforcer. So IoT is the one that creates the process for us. And then how we scale is, because we scale back with the human resources, and we decouple the operations between headcount and operations, just to cut costs. And how we use IoT at the moment is, let's put it this way, we have 80 buildings that are all snowflakes, right? And you need to treat each vendor or legacy asset, like Mitsubishi elevators or Kone elevator, not the same. The firmwares are not same. So IoT kicks in this part, meaning that we deploy the sensor and start managing them on the back end. And the dashboard that we use, which I would say like it's operational silence, because we create this technical surveillance behind it, and then we kick in, not reactive, but more predictive, and then start servicing these elevators before they break down in the morning rush hour. That's how I would put it as an example.
Thank you for that. That actually really explains a lot. I mean, you want to focus on preemptive maintenance, right, as opposed to the
That's
things already
correct.
broken.
Exactly.
Thank you. My next question for Doctor. In
Yeah.
simple terms, how does Baumarkt's AI house doctor and interior ecosystem make it easier for customers to design and buy furniture for their homes or for their businesses?
Oh, thank you. This is a chance for me to introduce more detail about what we are doing with Baumarkt. So as I make a short introduction, it's the Vietnamese market for the interior and furniture. It's around 2 billion domestic market, only the timber furniture. And to support for that market, around 6,000 manufacture workshop, and then to enjoy that market. Among that, around more than 2,400, mostly they are the small workshop or the traditional workshop. And most of them are now, mostly it's manual management. And then they always get depend on the independent architect working with the client. And then the clients, when they get the design, they will order the small and traditional workshop. So when during my join the construction industry, I recognize that it's very fragmented. The client in Vietnam, very difficult to find the trustable workshop or the manufacturer. So that's why Baumarkt was born to apply the AI, and then we are running the AI house doctor, already run, yeah. And then our client can join or access to the AI house doctor, the expectation, their house, their apartment, what the expectation, and then they can communicate with the AI house doctor. When they a little bit or the 90% satisfied with the design, and then they will contact with the Baumarkt architect, and then just our architect just finalize, and then make the deal with the contract, and after 5 days until the 20 days, so we will go to make the installation for them. So according to 1 year running, so we estimated that we can save 70% of the design duration to compare with the traditional rule. Yeah, and next, in Vietnam, the young generation, we call it a Gen Z and millennial. The population, they represented the 55% around. So it's around 55 million people or the person. Yeah? And then that is our main customer segment. So that's why I see that just a generation, not enough the finance capacity to furnish the entire interior in one upfront payment. So that's why we cooperate with the bank. So far, we cooperate with the TP Bank, one of the big four, and then the second bank. And then we can give our client, young generation, 5.4% per year interest to support them to get enough the condition of the interior for living. And then the environmental in Vietnam now very strictly, now maybe similar to the Singapore or European. When the people want to throw or want to change the furniture, very difficult to throw it, because now the solid waste or the waste, Vietnamese government control very closely. So that's why I thinking that we order the buyback solution for them. Because the young generation, they always want to change the style after 2 years, 3 years of the using or the operation, right? But at that time, only 2 years, 3 years of furniture still very good condition. So that's why I buy back, and then in our plan, I make them convenient. They just call, we go to take it, deal the buyback rate, and then with the shop produce, that shop will come to take it, come back to their own storage. And then in our plan, in the 2028, we will open the e-commerce of the refurbished furniture to support another client. So that's why it's now the Baumarkt we are doing. And so far, with the Baumarkt AI house doctor, so far we not running the marketing, but we have now the more than 2,000 accounts of the clients. They come back and then register. They use our AI house doctor for their home expectation or home the furniture. So thank you.
Thank you. Wow, a lot of things packed in there. You know, I think the banking support is amazing. The looking out for the youth coming up, and then from fully vertical, fully integrated from banking to actually producing, and now soon to be procurement. So I think that's amazing.
Thank you.
Han, I actually have a two-part question for you. I've actually known Han for a very long time, but I have no idea what he actually does. So the first question is, how would you explain the BIM, or what would you explain, and how do you explain what the BIM factory does? What is BIM?
Okay. Don't worry about it, Drew. I don't know what I do either, so don't worry. That's why we've been friends for a long time. I was the groomsman, and then he's doing it, you know, I can't explain to him. But, okay, what these gentlemen just talked about was the different phases of IoT, how IoT is used, right? So if you look at IoT, you're talking about design, manufacturing, construction, and operation, right? These gentlemen talk about the later stages. What BIM stands for is Building Information Modeling, and is at the design stage. And that's a super critical part of the process. So what IoT is data. BIM is what makes the data intelligent. BIM put the data into context. IoT talks to each other, but BIM tells where that IoT is, how long it lasts, who owns it, what floor it's on, you know. So it gives it context and let it be more intelligent and have it more structured than just data itself. So BIM is not a software. A lot of people are confused with BIM as a software. It's a process that structures data and make the building and the design intelligent. So it essentially takes a two-dimensional drawing, as an architect or engineer does, and it turns it into a three-dimensional exact duplication of the physical environment. However, it's digital. So what it does is it does a lot of simulation. It does a lot of taking the guesswork out at the beginning and early stages. So that's what BIM does when it relates to IoT. And just quickly, when Drew asked me about, hey, I'm going to do a panel about IoT, you have anything to contribute? I was like, oh, are you kidding me? That's all we do. So super excited to talk about it. So next question.
Thank you. So going back to Emre, so I got a general idea of kind of what AirCity does, but you know, let's dive in a little bit. Let the people understand what it is that you actually do. So could you give us some exact examples that you've done in the past for IoT or AI automation or anything related?
Actually, I will complete what Han mimicked. So like what he said, he shared actually. So we're in the late stage, as you put it. That's perfect. So when we come into a building, so let's put it this way, there's a greenfield project, which is brand new, and then there's the brownfields, which they're old. So at the moment, we're serving on the old side. So 80 buildings that we serve, I would say 90% are old buildings. So when you come into a building, as I shared, there's like a 20-year-old elevator or sensors that has not been placed correctly or never been there, to be honest. And the building owner usually is this integration trap, let's put it that way. Meaning, somebody already sold them a prior IoT device, which is super expensive, super costly, and they didn't know what to do with it. So that's where the integration trap comes in. And our job as AirCity is first make them understand what these devices are all made of. And number two, deploy the tech and make a dashboard, not the sexiest dashboard ever, but I would say something make it visible for them day to day to see it. Especially for residences, this is vital. Because once you start living there, it's a habitat. It's your day-to-day kids. Your kids are there where the most value that you had as family, basically, you're there. We're talking about digital locks. We're talking about sensors, parking lots, and all these people that you manage is in AirCity. So not only we deploy software and hardware, but also we do decision-making tools as are shared. And this started to happen in past 2 years for us. And we're quite early adapters. We're using, which I shared with my good friend very recently, we're testing with open source as well as you shared, data side of it. Right. Not only IoT is all about the data management systems and solutions, but also we want to own it. So we don't want to give it for cheap for someone or, let's put it that way, not to be trapped in with a big tool, let's put it that way. And they're usually super expensive, number one. And the margins of, as you can imagine, in property and building management is very, very short. It's very limited, especially in Vietnam. And we don't have the luxury to deploy these fancy tools. So we usually experiment with, again, IoT, but where it comes at the end, the end point is, are the people who lives there benefiting? And if the answer is yes, then we stay there, and the retention is increasing. Thus, we can also make some revenues from it, which hence the vendors comes into this picture, because we have the legacy assets that we manage at the moment with the software-hardware mix, the hybrid model, and then we bring the vendors, like a parking lot. We have EVs right now, so batteries can be exchanged there. We sell the space for them. Or Dockers, so like packages people are receiving from Viettel Post, right? So we're bringing these models into, and then start making revenues. And all of a sudden, the landlords who gave us this status, basically, start to see, not only it's about the CapEx, or OpEx, basically, I would say, put it that way, but also we're starting to streamline the revenues. And this is a good part. We have the good check, basically. And then we keep on improving the services. So how I would put it is, to end the take, basically, is, yes, IoT is great. It's the kind of nervous system, basically. But how I would put it is the AI is the brains right now. And if they're doing the service perfectly, then the human part kicks in, which we already shrink down the service part, and then we take it to the servicing part, which is necessary. It's the human touch. And what we discuss as well in early stage is AI doesn't have the judgment right now. And I don't think it will have this kind of decision-making. It always needs the human push at the end, or make the last call. I don't think it will last, by the way. I'm not saying it will be like this all the time, but not at this stage at the moment. Let's put it that way.
So just so we get a little more clarity, AI can identify certain things or patterns, right? But
exactly.
Still far away from actually giving a decision. Was that appropriate to say?
That's totally.
So we still require the human involved, right? So AI is not going to take all our jobs, guys. Don't worry.
Maybe, yeah.
It could help you with your job, but not take your job. That's
exactly. The people who use it will.
Yeah, because there's too many legal frameworks and too many risks, and
Exact.
There's too many things involved when you just let AI.
I would say like cost and risk at the end. Like you're like trying to fine tune every day. What is your cost and what is your risk, and which one we want to hedge with, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, we always need a fall guy, right? Can't blame the AI.
So if you're building something and you want to put AI into it, you don't want to say just, you're building AI or whatever. You're building AI assist.
Yes.
That's one word, AI assist.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it strong.
For our non-legal, non-attorneys, make sure you have that in your clause.
Don't say AI.
Cool. Moving on, doctor. So I'm trying to just think of the right question to ask. There was a lot of things that were mentioned. So how do you see smart interiors and connected furniture fitting into the wider smart home and AIoT trends in Asia, especially for maybe the Gen Z or the youth or just anyone?
Thank you. So for this question, I think during we make the business from my perspective. I think that our customer or our client, we just think the smart home, just a smart device. Yeah, just like when you come back home, you tuck, and then the television turn on, air conditioner turn on, turn off, or something, or the gate is open and closed. But I think the smart home in the new wave, not only that. When I founded the Baumarkt, I can see that the next wave of the smart home is like all of the device or the system must be connected each other. It's not only the smart device. It's like a sense, automation, and then they can make the decision. So, and then for the apartment or for the house, you know, the modernization or urbanization in Vietnam very fast, and then the house very narrow. So the smart home, not only the smart device, but the space, the home space must be adaptive to become the adaptive itself. And then the furniture will be the key player, because you know the furniture occupy, I think the 60% of the room, right? Room space. So I think, and then for us, I think the next for the generation, Gen Z, is just that we must change from the product to the service. Like we set up the sentence for the Baumarkt, it's a furniture as service. That means we can control from the design until the maintenance, and then the monitoring during the operation, and then our client have the demand to change or adaptive their space. So immediately our system can support and control. So I think that is a connected furniture. It's from the I mean it's a circular ecosystem from the design until the end of the full life of the furniture. Yeah.
Is it safe to say in the future, could we have furniture that actually has IoT built in?
Yeah.
I was thinking of that. It's quite dangerous, actually.
Yeah.
How many times you pull the chair out? How many times you turn on the faucet?
Yeah. Okay.
Because you know, in the like in Hong Kong or in Singapore, the room very narrow. So what the furniture can fit or can fit with the other smart device, and then the one system, I think, is the next wave. And then the furniture always play very role, because they directly, when you sleep, when you receive the guests, when you take the dinner, the chair and the table, it can be controlled.
I guess it's kind of interesting if you have analog or non-digital products and you start inserting tech or chips into them, you never know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
Be like Terminator. Han.
Yeah. Can I just quickly answer
Please.
that? Before you get to the question? You know, it's like you can put data into anything, right? But the type of data that you put in makes it smart or makes it dumb.
Yeah.
So we talk about smart devices and we talk about how, things to smart building. But if you have not well-structured data and you're putting just data in, it becomes dumb.
Totally correct.
So that's the honest truth. So don't be careful with what you put in, essentially.
Yeah.
I'm talking about data.
Garbage in, garbage out. Got it, Han.
Okay.
I still don't know what BIM actually does, but
Good.
my question for you...
If you did, I wouldn't have a job, so don't
that's
worry.
true.
Learning.
Fair. I think these guys might have a better idea than I would.
But Emre is a structural engineer.
Oh, no, no.
So we need everyone
So
collectively all
it's a very
together.
good for the Han, yeah.
Yeah.
Han is now is
Self-learn.
worry about the structure, the building with the BIM, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah.
Cool.
And
So
technical also, Han, yeah.
that's the man.
Yeah.
So Han, just curious, right? As someone who's still learning about BIM, how does using BIM make it easier to add IoT and smart building features later in a project's lifecycle?
Okay, so I heard you say something about that,
Correct.
right? So I don't know, were we talking about the Deutsche House?
Yeah.
That they're converting over to smart building, right? So this is one thing you have to understand is that when you plan IoT into the design phase, it actually saves money.
Correct.
When you plan IoT at later stages, it costs 3 to 5 times more than the actual cost of it. So that's dangerous. So planning ahead, you don't want to do it later, but if you have to, obviously, then you have to. But you have to understand sort of the complexity and all the different things that you have to consider, and almost going back in order to make it work. Almost having to redo a lot of things. So you don't want to do it later. You want to do it early stages.
But in the event, some people don't have the luxury of doing it in the beginning.
Yeah.
So how would you approach that? Is it recommended, or what is your overall feedback working on a project after completion?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you set up your project, right? If you're looking at your project, you say, oh, I'm building a smart city. Everybody loves building smart cities, right?
Yeah.
But they don't understand that in order for you to build smart city, it has to be really smart,
Yeah.
right? But they say, oh, I'm going to build a smart city. I'm going to, connect all these things together and so forth. So, I mean, you can look at it and you can plan it, but how you execute it, and at the end, you're going to realize that it's not that smart. So, it doesn't really make sense if you don't plan it way ahead. So if you say you're going to build a smart city, really go ahead and really build a smart
Correct.
city. Have things connect to each other, talk to each other, but also at the same time, have them to sort of, be smart and be intelligent, be more reactive and supportive in everything that you do, and not just transferring data back and forth. Letting you see, and and don't get me wrong, the dashboard and the platform on that's really helpful for the user. But at the same time, what can they really do with that, right? They can see it, they can interact with it, but can they really make their lives easier with it? So it's a lot more planning and a lot more context behind it. So
I mean, can we just add a chatbot or LLMs into your dashboards? And there you go.
yeah.
Maybe to close the loop as well, let me share you that. There's always, on the late stage, there's always a trade-off. So if you're doing this, everyone knows that it's going to be costly. So you're not bringing a project that is going to be $5,000. It's usually $500,000. So the trade-off there is, how can you help them cut the OpEx? So the headcount. This is the one that I shared. So decoupling your operations with the headcount is the key here. So when the software and hardware mix comes into the picture, you're not only measuring on the dashboard, but also the human performances. So imagine that they already, it's because it's late stage, they said that they're going to have 50 security guards. All of a sudden, you don't need 50. With these sensors, you no longer need maybe the headcount of 50 anymore. And then you can equip the people with technicians and everything.
Right.
Then you reduce the headcount immediately. So this is, I think, the big trade-off here. And not only is this going to reflect into real estate, but any industry that we're at. So again, initial costs will be big and huge, but for me, the idea is there's a trust issue in the market anyway. But integration trap shouldn't be thrown out, but should be negotiated with the people that a capable service company or operations company can really handle their shit. Yeah. That's the point.
Got it. Thank you for that. That's a nice clarification. I'm seeing a common trend here, right? It's no matter what, it's hardware with software, but the next step is so what, right? You have all this data, you have all this information, and how are we actually using this data to optimize better, monetize better, or just finding the little hidden patterns that aren't visible?
So to share my point, we're again on the last loop of servicing these apartments. For me, at least for AirCity, for so long time basically, it's not a really rewarding job, just to be honest. Because when the elevators are working, when your kids are safe, when you put the locks there, you can unlock the door anytime from far, when the post guy comes in, your packages from Lazada or Shopee is delivered, then what is it? Are you going to get a pat in the back or, yeah, excellent job, you did it great? Nobody knew these stuff can be done. So we give them this opportunity. So prior to that, there was no such thing. Now you start to see that what we can change in their lives, basically. And it's always improving, steadily. I wouldn't say that it's a leapfrog achievement, but it's just like steadily bringing them to the closure, basically.
Oh.
And for us, it's retention. And for us, I call it the operational silence and success. So to end with, I would say, if the operators are doing job, because again, we're competing against big names. I'm not going to name the names, but everybody knows that they're living in apartments in Saigon. I think we can do a lot better job than them. And they're taking lion's share of that at the moment. But for us, we're just testing and piloting all the time. And next stage for us is to go to the greenfield. And as Han greatly shared, actually, it's just like people planning IoT devices already in Vietnam, but somebody sold them a solution that's not really valid, right? Usually is the case. They're in the trap. So we come into the picture, we start them operate. Because my takeaway, demo day is perfect, right? Everything is crystal clear, everyone's smiling, wow, there's this wow effect there. But the 100-day kicks in, and then everyone's in firefight, right? This is our business. What we do the best so that there's no firefights in that segment, basically.
It reminds me of, I have a good friend who's in IT, and he always made this comment, you know, IT guys have it the worst. When things are running fine, everyone complains. These guys don't do anything. They don't do anything. But when things, you know, go haywire, now there's a problem. This guy still doesn't do anything, right? So it's very similar in that underappreciated service.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cool. So, Doctor,
Sure.
I've heard from these guys' perspectives a bit on more the construction and building side. You made a comment earlier about how you have payback periods or installment plans, and you're really looking to help the youth or the Gen Z or people coming in. So my question for you is, how is it, or what are the actual plans, payback periods, and how are the furniture being involved? So like if I'm a student or a Gen Z, how can I essentially get my dream home, right? If I don't necessarily have the money up front to actually build it, or what would you suggest?
Oh, thank you. So I think it's a very right question. You know, in Vietnam, I don't know, in European, I need to, but in Vietnam, when the people want to buy the apartment, so the apartment can be sponsored or be funded by the bank. But for the furniture, they have to one-time payment. So that's why it's if the generation, young generation like a Gen Z, yeah, for like a Drew, even Drew is not a young. So it he can join our system. We call it from the firstly, yeah, they make the plan for the apartment, and then there are two ways. One way is they can the real estate developer or the owner of the building, if they want to buy the apartment, and then that's the owner will introduce Baumarkt, and then we are doing with the TP Bank in Vietnam. They will add, for example, they can, for the young generation, it's 70% to borrow. And automatically, if they can order, the TP Bank will add 5%. That means they can borrow the 75%. And 5% is directly to the furniture and interiors. Yeah, so that is one. And then after that, automatically when they receive the apartment, the Baumarkt will come and then make the installation, the furniture. And then during that, so based on the AI house doctor, the solution, so we make automatically the maintenance, monitoring, if something happen or the defect or something.
Yeah.
And then after that, and then when they have the demand to change, because you know, like after 1 year, 2 year, 3 years, I get boring with the current furniture, so they just enter our system, Baumarkt Air Doctor, or I want to change this one. So and then our engineer, based on the data, our database, and then we look, and then we send them the estimation, and then we make the deal, and then if they continue to buy our furniture, our new style, so we give them the very good discount, and then we take it back for our, and then the most important that, as Drew mentioned, the storage. So that's why we are constructing the distributed workshop. So that means in Ho Chi Minh now, so far we have around 10 workshops for District 1, District 3, or some area. So each we will find the nearest or closest the position with the storage. So I will request them to supply. And then when the client has the demand, so that's the workshop will come to solve it. And then we no need to make the very huge storage to keep the furniture for it. And then when the workshop receives the buyback, so they immediately refurbish the furniture for the good quality, and then up to the e-commerce of the refurbished furniture platform from the Baumarkt, running from I planned will running from the 2028 when we have enough refurbished furniture. So that is we can support for the young generation now so far.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
For that?
Yeah.
So in America, they have this program, or there used to be furniture store that you can rent to own.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess in some way it's the same as getting a loan from a bank, but it goes straight from the supplier. It goes from the furniture company. They rent it to you, and you just pay rent each month, and then eventually, when it reaches a certain point, you own it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Rent
but
own.
also within that program, they also have a leasing program where you actually don't own the furniture at all. And it's what you're talking about in terms of like, renewing and adding and then changing the new style and updating. That's given an opportunity to just, they can lease it, and then they own it. You take it back, and then you give them another, 2 years later, 5 years later, or whatever it is. So how do those programs, have you tried those, or do you know anything about that? Or would that not work within your business?
Now it's because we just run only 1 year.
Okay.
So just the
Pilot.
yeah. So the question from we always face with the bank, that is okay, in the case because in Vietnam, the young generation is a move, blah, blah, blah. And then how I can catch them when they do not have enough money to pay back to the bank. So it's for the leasing.
That's what I mean. They don't go to the bank. They go to you. You
Yeah.
become the bank.
Yeah. So that's why. Yeah. Now we have to deal that. There are the two kinds of so far, right? Two kinds of the installment payment. The first one is the developer who run the sponsor with the bank, like all of the developer of the TP Bank. They will put the assets in the apartment. For example, asset apartment maximum they can get the 70%. So if they join our program, the bank will add 5% on top of the 70%. So totally 75%. So it's done, right? And then the other is we face with the second bank. It's a 5.4% for our client. On only 5.4% per year, right? And then we do the like a Visa card. They pay by the Visa after they join. So the bank will issue the platinum Visa card with the value of the furniture. And then when we make the installation, they will check, and then the money card.
Okay.
Yeah.
It sounds like, so from your side, you guys have really thought about the full product life cycle.
Yeah.
Right? From the consumer the design, the look and feel, to what happens when they no longer want to use it, and you're finding other ways to basically see where the whole cycle goes and even eventually go into upcycling.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But the Han question is a very, I'm studying the way to solve it. For example, until the 2-3 years, the depreciation, we don't know because it's much depend on the client, right? If the very strong man and then poop, 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 and then at the end the furniture cannot be refurbished. So that's why now we are thinking and then we are now working with the advanced material company. For example, we come and then what the products, the furniture cannot come to the refurbished, we will sell it to the material advanced company, like a raw material, like a processing for the 3D printer. Yeah, they will process it like a powder, and then we put it to the 3D printer. And now we have plan to cooperate with the European to make the 3D printer.
Maybe I can bring some angle as well, but
Yeah.
what I'm going to share is maybe it's related, but I think Vietnam is quite lucky in that sense because furniture is here manufactured almost 100% here.
Yeah.
And it's quite cheap.
Yeah.
And the funny part, we don't have IKEA here, right? Or any affordability issues. So you can go and buy your furniture, but you're right. The sentiment is a student cannot afford upfront payments for a mattress and everything, but do you think this should be standalone, taken care of by, I don't know, by the parents or the students, or it should be something that is like a platform should come in and bring that, exactly. Because it's becoming a commodity then, right? You're commoditizing something that you sit on every day, which is not the fair deal, basically, I'll put it that way. I mean, just an opinion, but we tried a lot of business models like this. We work with Baya, we work with UOB at the time. We created these rent-to-rent models and everything, but at the end, it's not about marketing the model, but it's the sentiment.
Yeah.
What do you create as like the feedback loop? Are they really satisfied with it? And then can they really return it? And then when you start the upcycle process, does it work? So you do stress test the business model, basically. That's my point.
So, in Vietnam, there is a F88, right?
Mm-hmm.
If only very famous financial company. If I
Yes.
know F88.
Yes.
Now it's a 1 billion estimation, right? The value of the company. They are the finance, and then the procedure, very easy. Everyone in Vietnam can just one touch and then can borrow the money. Only so ID, identification. Yeah, you can borrow immediately $2,000.
Correct.
And then, the question is how they can guarantee the customer can return the money.
Exactly.
But now they
Exact
are
point.
very growing up, and then, but I'm quite hesitate to working with them. Yeah, even now very famous. But I think it's one of the many the advisor told me if immediately I cooperate, so my customer win very much for the production. So that is the real situation in Vietnam. I don't know they have some mechanism to control the client or not. Yeah?
Okay.
I can think of a few, but I think if we're looking at your other counterparts in more developed countries, right?
Correct.
Very strong development of a credit system.
Yeah.
Right. And until Vietnam can actually, or eventually when Vietnam gets there, we can see some similar implementations of that, right? But I think until then, you kind of just figure it out as you go.
Yeah.
Han, BIM. Help me out. I'm still not getting what BIM is. So, how does BIM actually help businesses saving time? Yes, IoT is the move, but how does BIM and IoT come together? How about that?
So we were talking about sort of where BIM stands within a sort of life cycle of a building, right? You have design, again, engineering, manufacturing, construction, and then operation. The image, the visual of BIM, sort of like the dream of BIM has always been carried all the way through. But in reality, it doesn't, because people use it differently. There's a lot of issues behind the reason why it doesn't go all the way through. But if it does go all the way through, and how it would help people is that it's, if you look at a building, 30 years, right? Construction, design, engineering, all that, it takes like maybe 4 years, 3 years. The rest, that's where all the cost is, the operation and the maintenance of it, right? So that's where BIM is supposed to carry all the way through to support the operation and the maintenance of it.
Yep.
So I give you a visual. This is how it works now, right? So say your light bulb goes out in your apartment, right? And you're like, oh my God, okay, let me call that guy, right? The maintenance guy. You're like calling him Gonzalo, or you're calling him and he doesn't pick up, wait for him to call back, say, there's a light in my room that's out. Say, okay, I'll see you tonight, I'll see you tomorrow. He comes up, he looks at it, and he's like, oh, okay, I know what that is. Okay, I'll see you later, let me go and get it replaced. He goes back, maybe a couple days later, he has to go and buy it, and then a couple days later, he comes back and he installs it, right? Now imagine with BIM. Now BIM stands for Building Information Modeling, right? So there's data in this building. So imagine now, visualize it with BIM. My light bulb is out. Get on the app, you say, light bulb's out, there's a light bulb, this is where it's at. Go straight to the maintenance guy. The maintenance guy say, oh, look at this light bulb, it's out. I know what that light bulb is. I know what's the warranty on it. I know how long it's gonna last. I know exactly what that type light bulb is. And guess what? I know how high that is, so I know to come with the right ladder or the right stepping stool or whatever it is. So then you just go and straight. So he just go, grab the light bulb, go straight to the apartment and replace it. So that's information modeling with IoT and how it helps people to make things, easier. So that's the dream of BIM.
But,
It's not quite there yet.
but
It's not quite there yet. Right now, BIM stops at documentations. And there's a lot of reason behind it. Like I said, there's a lot of sort of legal frameworks. There's a lot of, just the hesitation of adaptation within our industry. Construction design is one of the oldest industries in the world, besides prostitution. But yet is one of the slowest to adapt in terms of technology and advancement. And there's a lot of reason behind it. There's a lot of people involved. There's a lot of things, moving parts. So, that's why it takes time.
this is a little off topic, but speaking of this, and this is what I'm starting to see now, especially with AI being involved, where many people are concerned about the transparency, right?
Yeah.
The transparency is that's really what's happening, right? Because how do you know that I need 20 tons of cement or I need X amount of sensors, right? But if all of this is intelligent, then right away, where's my kickback?
Yeah. That's a really good point.
Where's my commission? Where's my whatever, right?
Yeah. That is one of the biggest reasons. I'll tell you a quick story. When I first came back here about 15 years ago, I brought BIM to Vietnam. I was super gung-ho. I was like, man, I'm going to change the way Vietnam built, right? So I put a team together. We built the two-team tunnel, right? That was when it just finished, the two-team tunnel. And then I put a digital version of it together. The team built it, and we figured out, they could have saved so much more time. They should have saved so much more cost. And I was super excited. I was like, man, I'm going to change the way Vietnam builds, right? So I called the building department. I knew those people. Hey, come and meet me. I presented it. I showed them exactly. I was like, listen, look how much time you could have saved. Look how much money you could have saved, right? And then the main guy, I swear, he's sitting there right in the front. He stood up and he goes,
Thank you.
yeah, this does not work in Vietnam. You are an idiot. Go back to America. Don't, you're in the wrong business. And I was like, holy crap, okay, I'm in the wrong business. But what was interesting was that as I'm showing this process, the people, the younger people in the back, the managers, the one that's going to be the next generation of taking over the city, they start afterwards. After he took off, the main guy took off. There was like parties over. The other guys came up to me. It's like, how how do you do that?
Yeah.
How can you show that? So I had to explain to him. I said, okay, Vietnam not quite there yet. Eventually, it will get there. So guess what? Last year, so I'm part of the BIM steering committee in Hanoi, part of the Ministry of Construction since 2015, 16. And we've been, every year, we submit on the Prime Minister's desk asking, please mandate the use of BIM if you want FDI into your country.
Yeah.
Please. No, 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 no. 2024, yes. So 2025, last year, started infrastructure project. You need BIM to do infrastructure projects.
Yes.
Required. Next year, private buildings, over 5,000 square meter, needs to do BIM. Because why? Exactly what he said. It provides a level of transparency.
Exactly.
People know where their money is going. There's a reason why that metro line that we had took 20-something years.
Yeah.
Nobody knew where that money went. That's the reason why. So BIM provide this level of transparency into the process. And that's why there's a lot of hesitation. But the mindset is changing.
Cool.
And Vietnam's approved.
It's just a closed loop as well. Like, it's perfect because, yes, we lack the transparency. We already know that. And it's not only that, but there's the trust issue, which is the frictions happen. And it's not because of the old school versus new. It's because the same people are still there. And it's not going to change. And if you want the change to happen, it's not going to be easy. I agree. But the newer generation, the comebacks, the overseas Vietnamese coming back here, not to teach them a lesson, but to progress it with them. Because as you know better than I probably, but I've been here for 10 years, and we always, and in this conversation as well, we talk about culture differences and everything. At the end, it's nothing to do with culture. Sure. It's the mentality, it's the mindset. And to your point, Drew, like, imagine for 10 years, we've been talking about the metro lines in Vietnam, in Saigon, and we just achieved the first line. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm coming from Europe, but this is Istanbul we're talking. So also, the first metro line took 6 years, but at the end, it was locally built. So what I would say is TOT was there, yes, but also they kept it. Then the next few metro lines, which took them only 6 to 1 year, 6 months to 1 year. So that's the point, the transparency and trust. Then the transaction starts to happen, basically.
Yeah.
The 3 steps of framework, basically.
Right. And the reason why Vietnam was really keen to adapt, and that's why they formed the steering committee to allow this, was because Singapore mandated the use of it in 2014.
Exactly.
So they were like, okay, if Singapore is doing it, maybe we should start thinking about it. Only took them 11 years or 10 years.
Cool.
Right?
Thank you, guys. Thank you. We only got a few more minutes left. I'm just going to go quick. Let everyone kind of give your final thoughts before closing out the panel discussion. Doctor, question for you. So
Thank you.
how do you see the future of, am I saying it right? Baumarkt?
Baumarkt.
Baumarkt.
So
German's name.
Yes.
apologies. So how do you see the next future or the next few years looking like for your guys?
For the Baumarkt.
Yes.
Thank you very much. So I think in Baumarkt, we make the business strategy plan very clearly. We, from the founding, we divided in the 3 phases. The phase 1 is when founded, it's 2024 to the 2027. We focus on the AI developer. And then now we already have the AI house doctor to support our client. And then we prepare for the, the control and monitoring and management, the design until the production line. And then from the 2028 to the 2030, we develop the 3D printer, when from the AI, when the client, and then they can directly to the 3D printer. And then we call it's a 3D distributed system. So I mean, each of the city, we put some 3D printer, and then we have to we can save the logistic situation. Yeah. And then from the 2030 onward, So we cooperate with the AI marketing, AI e-commerce. That means it's IoT or something. The e-commerce to upgrade our for sustainable development. So that is, I think now, so far it's on track. Now we are starting to deal with the TU Darmstadt. If you know, TU Darmstadt is the IIB, Bauinformatik Institute. And then we cooperate with the 3D printer manufacturer. And now we are starting to go to process the program, to research how the client can be one touch. And then after 3 days to 4 days, they immediately have some the furniture. And then not depend on the logistic, because the system will find the nearest 3D printer and then to move to the client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, guys, we got to wrap things up.
Yeah.
It's almost lunchtime. I think everyone's hungry.
Correct.
Before we finish, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone that attended and came, and really appreciate you guys being here. Big thank you to Gradion team. And thank you to our panelists for coming and actually
Thank
really
you.
helping me understand what IoT is.
Thank you, our panelists.
You still don't know,
I would love
right?
to invite
Okay, good.
Mr. Nguyen